Thank you, Amr. Definitely, doing a small POC and moving to kind of an enterprise responsible RAG, you've seen there's a lot of stuff you have to do, and it's one of the things that we do well, and we solve all these problems for you. So thank you, Amr, for that description. So next, I would like to invite Bob Gourley, CTO of OODA. And he is going to talk about compliance in government and how it ties to all of this. So please, Bob, welcome.
Thanks, Ofer. Hi, I'm Bob Gourley, and is this on? Is the microphone working? No, it's not working. Oh, okay. Oh, good. All right, thanks. Hey, it's good seeing you guys here. I'm Bob Gourley, and I am a huge fan of Vectara and advisor to the team. And also, I wanted to say a little bit about my background. I've been working in AI and ML for years, including in the federal space. I was a chief technology officer for one of the large intelligence agencies, Defense Intel Agency. Since then, I've been an advisor back into government on multiple boards and try to track things as closely as I can, including AI. And one of the things I wanted to say about AI is every single agency is adopting AI, and their goal is to do it smartly with ensuring that the functionality is there, but also the security and explainability and reliability. But the key thing is the functionality. Now, in trying to track AI, it's hard for me, even a nerd, but I download every strategy I can from the federal government, every budget document, and what do? I put it into Vectara so I can digest it and read it. There's actually a demo now that's been built where you can interact with these federal strategies yourself and ask Vectara the meaning of them and who's doing what with AI and what the budget will be. You can find that at the Vectara website at federal.demo.vectara.com. So please try that out. What I really want to get into in this brief at a high level is something called the NIST AI Risk Management Framework. For me, this is a way to accelerate deployments of AI systems into the federal government. And the reason why it's so important to talk about is the title of this slide. We are using AI to remake essentially the entire federal government and also state and local governments. All right, let me see if I can get this to work here. So, before we get into the NIST AI framework, I wanted to mention a couple broad use cases for AI today. These are some of my favorites. One, multiple agencies are using AI and ML to look for fraud and mismanagement and waste and abuse. There's large deployments underway right now in multiple departments, including leadership by Federal Trade Commission, but also HHS. And Centers for Medicare and Medicaid are using ML solutions to look for fraud and abuse. There's also a new effort underway to look for ways to mitigate fraud and abuse against our elder population, which is really, unfortunately, a horrible thing that's happening in the community today. So AI is being applied for that kind of fraud and abuse detection. The second big category I want to talk about is emergency response. Now, there's multiple use cases in emergency response where AI and ML is being pulled together to help respond to crisis. The greatest one that I think we should all reflect on is Operation Warp Speed and what happens. I mean, the pandemic was a horror, and it was really a complex issue to respond to. The real progress being made there was during Operation Warp Speed, which was a lot of great human leadership empowered with some of the most fantastic AI and ML available at the time. So it's a huge use case, and now there's multiple use cases in emergency response and management at the federal level and state and local. The third piece I wanted to talk about is right now mostly uptake in federal and local, but soon state and local, but soon at the federal level. And this is the citizen service through AI, largely through things like chatbots where you can interact with data. At my county, in Prince William County, they do a fantastic job of empowering their citizens with easy-to-find information and letting you get what you need to, whether it's your tax payments, your bills, what you need to do to comply. in pockets of counties around the U.S. are now adopting these chatbots. I think this is the hot one, and it is going to grow dramatically in the federal space. At the bottom here, I list national security. There are so many national security use cases for AI and ML, including the most advanced GenAI solutions. Now, one I like to call out, and maybe it's the most famous one, is the Department of Defense, who after a decade of work with cutting-edge AI, found they needed to centralize to really innovate. And the Chief Data and AI Office in the Department of Defense is a central place there, where their entire job is to make sure that AI is deployed in Department of Defense that has reliability, security, and explainability, and complies with the ethics that we put on our Department of Defense when we build and deploy these AI systems. They're a great exemplar of wanting to move faster. Now, there's a lot of impediments to moving faster, and I wanted to briefly talk about them so we can talk about how to go faster. The impediments to speed, there's 4 big buckets. Now, 2 of these apply to any big government program or project. The complex procurement processes, that will always be with us. It's been there for decades, and it always will be. Now, I do think AI will help cut through some of this as we're able to inform people on what the processes are and what the next step is. But still, the government is a big, complex thing with lots of rules and regulations, and that's not going away. Although there's a lot of hope that things will get more efficient, I think AI needs to be applied to really streamline that. There's also cultural resistance to change. You know, we humans are all part of this cultural system where we we make change, we build something, and then we grab onto it, and then the thing that we have locked onto is hard to unlock from. So there's always going to be a cultural resistance to change. There's ways to mitigate that and go faster too, through education, training, outreach like this, which can help empower and move things to go a little bit faster. The fragmented regulatory environment is a concern that's also going to be there for a long time. But when it comes to AI, it's getting a bit more complex. There are rules that flow from Congress. There's also rules that flow from the White House. The largest executive order ever written in the history of the White House was on artificial intelligence, released last year. And it comes with a lot of rules that have to be complied with for all the departments. The Office of Management and Budget then turned that executive order into direct orders for all government agencies. So this has to be understood if we want to move fast. There's also this 4th thing that at times can really slow us down, and that's fear of the unknown. And I don't think that applies to folks here, but there are others who are just afraid of this stuff and need to be convinced that, you know, this is not going to hurt us. This is going to help us. We need to move faster. Some people pay a little bit too much attention to the doomers or watch the dystopian sci-fi, and it interferes with their ability to accelerate. Now, I think there's ways to mitigate that. The biggest way is education and outreach and trust building, the kind of trust building that comes from person-to-person relationships. But the biggest way to cut through all these impediments to speed, I think, is the NIST AI framework. And I wanted to mention NIST. I think everybody here has heard the acronym NIST. You may know it's a great standards-based organization that's headquartered in the Department of Commerce, and it does outreach on all sorts of standards. You know, the reason that we're able to make so much scientific progress is they do that in a collaborative way where they bring in a lot of input from stakeholders. Following guidance from both Congress and the White House, NIST has been applying a lot of time and attention to artificial intelligence. They have a risk management framework now that I wanted to talk to you about. What I'm going to give you is just the highlights here, but it's the highlights that I think we can all keep in mind in a way that is going to help and speed the deployment of any system into the federal government. The AI risk management framework is, it's not too long itself. It's about 70 pages, but it comes with a playbook that's 190 pages. So it's a lot of detail that you can zoom into and get the information you need. I just want to give you the highlights here. And when I do, I think it will resonate with you that all the things Amer's talking about with Vectara fit right into this AI risk management framework. At a high level, It's 4 different parts. The 4 parts, you don't have to do them in one particular order. Everybody's already doing some things already. But mapping is an extremely important one. Mapping what your risks are. You write out your risk. You assess your risk with a team. You also map your data and where is it. You map your current architecture. And then as you map out what you have, that informs the next step, which is to measure. We all measure IT already, but when it comes to AI deployments, as Amr mentioned earlier, measurement is extremely important. And the AI risk management framework gives specific tips and pointers on how to measure AI deployments in ways that will help you track risk and track functionality and keep moving faster. The manage component of this is about tracking those risks with fidelity. You take the measurements you're doing, you now watch in an automated way for anything that goes wrong, and then you move out. Govern is the governance that includes the cultural components here. So that's the AI risk management framework overall. Why does it help you go faster? Because it is not mandatory. They don't dictate that you follow everything in the risk management framework. It's a suggestion, and it's best practices and lessons learned. And reading that and seeing how it applies to your project can help you make sure that you build it in a way that is going to convince everyone involved that you've got a handle on all of the risk, and you're going to deploy whatever your solution is in a way that meets the requirements of all compliance, which is going to help you go faster. So that's the most important point I wanted to make today. The AI risk management framework from NIST is your friend. It will help you go faster, and it asks you to do things that Vectara is already building. The things that Amr just explained and that we're going to dive a little bit deeper into later today will just underscore that the AI risk management framework is not that hard to comply with. So, to summarize, we are remaking the entire federal government, we broadly, with AI. It's impacting every single agency, every department at the federal level and at state and local too. AI is really going to help change things in a positive way. But we need to do that with security and explainability and transparency and compliance with the rules and regulations. The way to do that is by understanding, in my opinion, the NIST AI risk management framework at a high level. How does this fit with Vectara? I think Amr already hit that very, very well. Vectara has an approach that can help developers develop and field things quickly and do it in a way that contributes dramatically to security and performance and compliance and transparency. And if you're in a project where you must mitigate issues like bias or fairness, Vectara has the solution that does that, the RAG. So that was the key points I wanted to make. Number one takeaway, the NIST AI risk management framework, understanding that can help you go faster. Building a foundation that supports all of the objectives of the AI risk management framework with Vectara can help you go faster.